Good morning, YouTube. I hope you had a wonderful week. Welcome to Summer Karen, where I am just literally in from taking a long walk this morning. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a video and just kind of show you what a typical day in the summer looks like for me, because it's been a long time since I've done any kind of vlogging. So I went for a walk. I go for about an hour. I would say about 8,000 steps in that walk. Had a little breakfast. And now I am ready to start with my day. I do have one more workout that I want to do, which it's using my Peloton. I have been trying to incorporate some like weightlifting daily. Today is a leg day, so I'm going to quickly do that. It's about a 20-minute workout. And then for the school stuff, I have to go to school. I want to grab my laminator because I'm ready to start thinking about my bulletin boards. Last year I did a whole classroom setup vlog, but I didn't really do too much on the walls. So this year I want to do something a little different and kind of focus on that, because I have a lot of wall space, a lot of things that I really want to kind of make my own and make it more inviting. My students last year said that it was a little minimalist, and I was like, really? I thought I had like a lot, but whatever, it's fine. So I want to do a better job with that this year, make it a little bit more inviting for the kids. And I'm going to grab my laminator. Hopefully I'll have time to try that trick with the Cricut where you can like laminate the cardstock and then run it through the Cricut and it'll just cut the letters. I've never tried it. I'm very new to the Cricut world, so I want to grab my laminator to see if I can do that. I also want to start writing letters of recommendation. I have so many this year. It's insane how many kids have asked. So I'm just trying to keep centered about it, and I can't accept any more because it's just like it's out of control. But what I'm going to do today is hopefully make it my goal to write at least 3 letters of recommendation. So I'll talk a little bit about the process and like what each letter of recommendation typically includes and how I make my life a little bit easier with letter of recommendation. And then if there's time left over, then I'm also going to show you how I'm preparing my Google site for my honors chemistry class, because it's been a long time since I've taught honors. It's probably been about 2 or 3 years. So I want to show you how I'm going to prepare the Google site. So those are really the top 3 things that I want to get done today. I may not get through all of them. We'll see how it goes. I do have plans later on tonight, so I only have so much time I can devote to this. But either way, I'm taking you guys along with me. So let me quickly do my workout and I'll bring you guys to school with me. All right, not too bad. So they have extended school year in my classroom because it's nice and air conditioned. So it looks like they cleaned everything up, but I don't think they did the floors yet. Usually they will wax the floors, so it looks pretty good. So now what I have to do is I have to find my laminator. I'm pretty sure it's behind all of these chairs, of course, but I better get moving. Success, got my laminator, got my pouches. Now I am ready to go. My trip to school was relatively uneventful. I didn't see any of my colleagues, so I was able to get in and out very quickly. I got my laminator, got my pouches. I did go into my office area just to see what was going on. A lot of times, and I imagine it's the same in your school, they do a lot of work in the school. So for example, they're replacing the lunchroom floors. They're also replacing some cabinetry and whatnot in this classroom next door. So it's definitely been a little bit of a chaotic summer, especially with the extended school year program, but I was very pleasantly surprised when I walked in today. It really wasn't that bad. I'm hopeful next week I can get in to start doing my bulletin boards and my classroom decorations. Of course, I'm going to take you along for the ride, but that really is dependent on whether or not they're going to be waxing the floor next week, because then the wax has to dry and then I can actually start working in the classroom myself. But we'll see what happens. So today I'm just going to focus on what I can do at home, which is a lot of that digital work, like for example, college letters of recommendation. So every year I get inundated. This year in particular, I was inundated with requests for a letter of recommendation. Usually I say yes to letters of recommendation whenever a student asks. The only time I don't is for a couple reasons. Number one, if I'm inundated with requests and I just simply don't have enough time to write them, that's what I say. The second reason why I'll usually say no to writing a letter of recommendation is if a student has some sort of academic integrity violation. That's kind of one of those things that I just don't feel good about signing my name to a letter that I've written to support the student going on to higher ed. I'm just simply not going to lie in my letter. I really need to be honest. And so if a student were to say like, yeah, you can put that in the letter, then absolutely I would write it, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable otherwise. To make my life a little bit easier with letters of recommendation, I do tell students that I do not write any letters during this school year. It's just such a busy time with preparing my lessons and my labs, and I have after school activities and extra help, and I teach turnkey. So it's just too crazy. I just don't have time to do it during the school year. So I tell my students from the get-go, if you would like a letter of recommendation, you need to come and see me. After they request it, as long as I agree to write it, I send them a Google form. And in this Google form, it asks them like, the basic stuff like, why are you asking me to write your letter of recommendation? What are you most proud of from our class? Actually, you know what? I have it up here. Why don't I just show you what it looks like so you can kind of see the types of questions that I ask. This is the Google form that I ask my students to complete. So it has just, the basic information. So let's type in any old thing so you can kind of see. I do, again, ask the question, did they see me in person for a letter of recommendation? If they select yes, it brings them to the questions. But if they select no, it'll ask them, you must see me in person to ask for a letter of recommendation. So it just reminds them of that. So then if I select yes, this is what I tell them. I say, please fill it out. Please do it by July 1st. And then I ask them to please read this statement. So it's really important to me that students are very truthful and accurate in the information that they're providing to me. This fortunately has not happened since I've been writing letters of recommendation, at least not to my knowledge anyway. But if there is anything that is perceived as false and not truthful, I reserve the right to say, you know what, I think you need to find somebody else to write your letter of recommendation. So they check this off. And then I ask them, when are they going to expect, their letter? When's their earliest deadline? So I'll just select one. They type in the colleges that they're applying to. And then I ask them some questions about why do they want me to write a letter of recommendation. And then I go down here and I ask them some questions about their achievement, and then to reflect on their own attitude in chemistry and, just think a lot about like their data and achievement here. So like, for example, what do they think is their greatest strength? I ask them to open up their grade book and count up how many assignments are missing or incomplete, and they type in the number here. I ask, did they make up work after an absence? A big problem in my school is students have a tendency to be absent on test and quiz day. So I want to ask, is that something that you struggled with this year? And then what else have they learned as a result of being in this class? For the second part, I asked them about their goals in college. So I asked them about their personal goals and, their passions. Again, it just helps me to kind of know where they're coming from and to cater their letter to these things that they're telling me about. And then I asked them to give me some adjectives to describe themselves, their accomplishments, what they value. And then finally, I look at some of their activities. So I can basically say, the student is obviously outstanding, but they've done, X, Y, and Z outside of the classroom. So what I'm going to do right now is start writing some of these letters of recommendation, start kind of combing through the data a little bit, and this will probably take me about 2 to 3 hours because like I said, my goal is to write 3 today. So it's probably going to take me at least, I would say, 3 hours to get 3 letters, but we'll see how it goes. I finished 2 out of the 3 letters, and I'm not feeling super geared up to do the third one just yet, so I thought I'd take a break and start designing some of the things for my Google site. If you've seen my Google site before in like past videos, I have all of these like buttons for all the different units. It's really a button that the students click on and they can access all the materials for the unit. So what I want to do is I want to finish creating those buttons and then uploading them to the Google site so that they're ready to go when we start using them during the school year. If this is something that you're interested in, I thought I would just quickly kind of give you like a tutorial on how I do this, and hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense if you actually see me doing it, and I can show you, like I said, all the parts and like how I upload them to my site. Every unit has a button associated with it. So these are my CP buttons on my Google site. These are my AP buttons. We obviously do a lot more topics in AP. So what I'm going to try to do is modify the current CP buttons to be for my honors site instead. So if you haven't seen my honors chemistry site before, it looks something like this. I'll actually show you like the real deal here. So this is what it looks like. If I click on any of these links, basically if this is the AP site, you'll notice that I've got all of these different buttons. And so I have the same thing for CP as well, but this is the honors one. So when I go to honors and I go to unit materials, you'll see I don't have a whole lot here because I need to modify it. So what I did is I actually moved the atomic structure unit over, and in here I need a mathematics and chemistry button of some kind. So I'm going to actually use PowerPoint to do this. So what I do is I'm going to minimize that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, drag it up here, and I'm going to say math and chemistry. And I'm going to delete that up there. So there we go, it fits on 2 lines. So I think I'm going to reuse this and make this. So what I do is I right click on it, and all you do is you click save as picture. And when you do that, if you go to your desktop, I'll just save it here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Google site, and I'm going to go to images, and I'm going to upload the one that I want to upload. So that's going to be the one. You can see it's really large. I want it to fit nice and neat there. And then what I do is I can turn it into a link. So if I click this little link, if I click on it and then click on the little link button, what I can do is I can type in math in chemistry. So it comes up as 2H. So this actually corresponds to a page, and I can click apply. And then when I do that, I'm able to actually like get to that page. So usually what I do is I don't activate the links until the students are going to be needing them. So you can see like this is the mathematics and chemistry unit. So this directs them to all the unit information that they need, all the answer keys, all this good stuff. And then of course, when you're done, you're just going to want to click publish so that your students can now see these changes. So now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to finish all of the rest of the units so that they're ready to go when the time comes for the new year. All right, I just finished, so let me see what this looks like. So if we go to unit materials, you can see I've got pretty much all of them listed here. Oops, looks like that got a little cut off. I gotta go in and fix that. Let's fix that really quick. If you click on something, you can stretch it down and it'll automatically adjust. You can even click this little button there too. But you know, it's completely up to you. I try to make all of these to be like approximately the same size, but if you do that, it doesn't always fit. So you will have to modify it. It just depends, like I said, on how much you want to. I'm gonna just make this one a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, so not too bad. I think that was pretty quick, pretty painless. So got a bunch going, and then it looks like the page format for all of these is all good too. So shouldn't have too much else to prep. So I'm glad I can kind of check that off the list. This is now all finished for the honors site. Okay, I just finished writing the last letter, and it is about 3 o'clock. So it took me about 2.5 hours to write 3 letters. And one of the reasons why it was a little bit shorter was because one student and I actually wrote a letter of recommendation for a program that he was attending last year. So it actually did not take as long, fortunately. So what I am going to do now, because I have some extra time, is I am going to do some fun stuff with Cricut. So I'm going to try that trick where I make bulletin board letters and laminate the cardstock ahead of time. I don't know what I'm doing, but the best way to learn is just get in there and try to figure it out. So I'm going to show you what I do, and if you have any tips, I'm listening. I definitely could use them for sure. This is always the part that I'm like, I don't know if it did it because the pressure isn't right. And it looks like Yeah, the pressure's not right. It did not, you can see it didn't really cut through. Okay, I gotta try another setting here. Let's see what we got. Okay, let's try it now. So the first time I did heavy cardstock, then I just did poster board. Ugh, so close. Still not there. Okay, I need a different setting. Let's see. Push this down. Let's try something else. Well, it's definitely not going so well. So I just tried this like really hard pressure. I think it was like 307. And then it started to like move on the mat. So I think I need a stronger grip mat. So I have my standard grip now, but I'm gonna try the same setting because it did cut out like some pieces of it, but it still isn't perfect. So I'm gonna try one more thing and then I just need to step away because then if I don't, then I get frustrated. So hopefully this works. All right, the moment of truth. Let's try again. Let's see, did it work? I don't know. Ugh, I hate this part, but that's why I do test runs because I don't know. Oh, it's definitely stickier. Ugh. Uh-oh, it's still coming off in one piece. I'm gonna hit it one more time. I'm gonna do it one more time and see what happens. Okay, the moment of truth, let's see. So I'm gonna actually try it this way. Oh, is it still stuck? Oh no. It looks better. Like, I mean, you can see the lines are really close. Oh, this is not easy to do with one hand. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Hold on. I can't do it. I know you're supposed to peel the mat away from the project. Oh my God. Wait, did it work? Guys, oh, I can't do it with one hand. Hold on. Okay, so I gotta say, it actually did not come out too bad. I mean, this was like, it was originally like this. I just used some like image that I found on there, but it was free and in Design Space, but it actually came out pretty good. I mean, this was where it came from. And I was worried about the edges because I did have to do a little bit of like poking at it to get it to come out, but it looks pretty good. So I think this is gonna be the right setting. So let's see, which settings did I use? So I used, I created like holographic stickers. And what was my setting? Let's see. I think it was like 3, let me see. This was the die cut. Oops. Let's see what it was, because I don't remember. So this was mine. So this is the die cut one. I'm just gonna see what it is. It looks like for die cut, I did a pressure of 300. So you know what it probably was? I probably didn't use a good enough mat. That's probably what it was. I bet if I did the harder cardstock plus, I bet it would have worked really well because I think, let's see, cardstock plus, where is cardstock plus? This is 307. So I bet it was just the mat. I just bet I needed to use a standard grip mat instead of the light grip mat. But that probably made all the difference. Well, I think that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I know this is definitely a more different video that I've done in the past, but I thought you'd just like to see my day-to-day. And like I said, today's Friday, I'm prepping for school. If you have any tips or tricks for working with Cricut, especially with bulletin boards and lamination, I'd love to know what they are. I actually did try it one more time and it didn't cut through again. I don't know about you, but I always find that Cricut can be somewhat unpredictable at times with like how things are gonna cut. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So if you have any suggestions, it's still a work in progress. Fortunately, I don't have to do my bulletin boards for a couple more weeks, but I'd love to know any tips that you have. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll be sure to check in with you guys next week.